Will big tech get broken up? The war against the big tech companies has been weighing for some time, particularly because of President Trump. But little has actually been done to break up or slow these companies. But then this happened. And ever since Twitter's role in inciting violence at the Capitol, we might actually see big tech be scrutinized in new ways. Big tech is usually referred to as the big five tech companies: Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, and Microsoft. Twitter isn't actually considered to be big tech because it's more or less an app, not so much of an ecosystem like Google. You probably have 5 or 10 Google apps on your phone, but just one Twitter, if you even have Twitter. So now that there's a new guy in the White House, what's gonna happen? Many think that Biden will not be as spontaneous towards tech giants as Trump was, but that he also won't be as lenient and supportive as Obama. And this makes sense. Obama's term ended in 2016, back when Facebook and Instagram were just known to be those cool apps that were connecting the world and helping communities and a platform for democracy. And that was all before any of us knew that a social media app could actually impact a presidential election. This was also way before China's tech companies like Huawei or ByteDance, the company behind TikTok, were breaking out of China. But before Biden decides if he can actually try and break up some of these big tech companies, he's likely to assess something that's even more important, and that's called Section 230. Section 230 is a federal law which basically insulates these tech companies from liability for the content that its users are posting. Section 230 is now 25 years old, and it's largely helped shape the internet. And it basically means that platforms like Facebook just can't be held responsible for the content that we post, even if it incites violence. Now, of course, Facebook has a policy that you can't use its platform to incite violence, but the federal government, not so much. Of course, there are some exceptions here, including copyright violations, sex work-related material, and content that violates federal copyright laws. This is a very tricky thing. On one hand, Section 230 helps allow for free speech, but what about hate speech? Some argue that social media platforms should take a bigger stance and simply ban all hate speech. But then again, hate speech is usually protected under the US Constitution and the First Amendment. But whatever Biden does with big tech, and particularly around Section 230, will ultimately set a standard for not just big tech, but the internet as we know it. So what do you think needs to be done, if anything? Let me know in the comments below. While you're at it, check out more of my videos about tech, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and find me online at Uptin.